Hello and welcome to another episode. I am Brian, the Unskilled Commander. This is my gameplay series where I test my decks against themselves to try and find their weaknesses, improving both my deck building and my playing of Magic the Gathering, and also hopefully helping you guys to learn when to play things and when not to play things based off my mistakes, just helping overall to make everyone better at Magic. This is match 3 of Animar and Maze's End, Guildgates, Angels, and Dina Soul Steeper. Animar got to go first, and I've already taken the first 3 turns to get past all of the simple play a land and pass. We've done some stuff, but I will go through that as we hit each deck. For Animar, all we were able to do was play a Grow from the Ashes to get an extra land out. So we're going to untap over here on turn 4, draw a card for turn, then tap all 4 to play a Migration Path. Search for 2 basic land cards, put them both on the battlefield tapped. Since we luckily have a mountain and an island, we will just go get 2 forests on the battlefield tapped, because basically this is my big green stompy deck just with blue and red splashed in, because Animar is a really good commander for this deck. So we're poised and ready with a lot of mana for next turn. However, we are wide open. We'll pass turn over to the Guildgates. Over here, we've been able to play a spell book, which means we have no maximum hand size, and Azusa Lost But Seeking, which says we can play 2 additional lands on each of our turns, which we did to dump our hand. So we will now draw for turn, and I'm going to go ahead and tap 4 mana for the most expensive card in the deck, by far, the One Ring. Indestructible. When it enters the battlefield, I gain protection from everything until my next turn. Don't think that's super relevant because it's kind of early game. And at the beginning of my upkeep, I lose 1 life for each burden counter on the One Ring. I can tap it to put a burden counter on the One Ring and draw a card for each burden counter on the One Ring. I will do so. Put a counter there, draw a card, and put a reminder to take damage. Okay. That's all we can really do. I'm not going to swing with my 1-2, so I will pass. Untap over here onto Angels. Of course, we played Giada on turn 2. We also played Seraph Sanctuary on turn 1, gaining a life, and it says that whenever an angel enters the battlefield under your control, you gain a life. We also played Angelic Field Marshal, using Giada's ability to tap for a white for only angels. She says that as long as you control your commander, she gets +2/+2 and has vigilance. So she's a 5/5 flying vigilance, but because we already had an angel out, she also got a counter, and we should have gained a life. I'm going to play a land for turn. I will tap 4 and tap Giada for 5 to play the Herald of War. It will come in with 2 counters. It's a flying 3/3 that says whenever Herald of War attacks, put a counter on it. Angelic spells and human spells cost 1 less to cast for each counter on Herald of War. Awesome. That means angels already cost 2 less to cast. That's going to be really helpful because angels are extremely expensive mana costs. We saw angels go off pretty crazy good last game. We'll see if they can keep it up. I can go to combat with Angelic Field Marshal, so I might as well. It does have vigilance because I have my commander out, so it's 6. I'm going to hit somebody for 6. I don't really know. I guess you have the One Ring out. Oh no, you're protected from everything, so I can't even hit you. We'll go to Dina. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we did play a land, so we do gain another life. Or not a land. We played another angel, and because of the sanctuary, we gain life. We'll pass after that. Untap, upkeep. I'm going to lose a life and draw a card, and then draw a card for turn because of Phyrexian Arena, which I didn't actually announce. Sorry. Going to play a forest for turn, tapping all 4 to play Thran Dynamo. Adds 3 colorless mana to my mana pool. Last game I didn't have any lands, now I got a lot of lands in my hand, but also some high cost spells, so having Thran Dynamo out helps. But that's all I can do. I will pass turn. Alright, we're going to untap over here. Upkeep on turn 5, draw a card for turn. I will tap 1 of each color to play Animar, Soul of the Elements, a 1/1 with protection from white and from black. Whenever you cast a creature spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Animar, and creature spells cost 1 less to cast for each counter on Animar. I will tap 2 and play Emerald Medallion, so green spells cost 1 less to cast, but nothing I can do about that. Or nothing I can do else, so we're going to pass turn. Untap, upkeep, I'm going to take a damage off of the One Ring, draw a card. We're going to go ahead and tap it, put a counter on it, and draw 2 cards. 1, 2. Alright, good. So we get Azorius Guildgate comes in tapped. I will tap a forest to play Spelunking. We've seen that before in, I think, the first game. When it enters battlefield, draw a card, and then you may put a land card from your hand on the battlefield, and lands come into the battlefield untapped. I did not draw an extra land. Just to play something, just to feel something, we will tap 3 and play Mirian's Safe House. Mirian's Safe House says as long as it's on the battlefield, it has all activated abilities of all land cards in the graveyard. That's there because if someone blows up Maze's End, it can copy its ability from the graveyard. Nothing else I can do with 1 mana. I will pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn, play a Plains. I will tap all 5 to play Belby's Portal. As it comes into play, choose a creature type. I'm going to choose Angels. I can pay 3 and tap it to put a creature card of the chosen type from your hand into play. So now I can circumvent mana costs completely. As long as I have 3 open mana, I can play any Angel I want as long as I have 3 open mana. And Belby's Portal is untapped. But that's all I can do right now. Angel spells do cost 2 less because of Herald of War, and I could tap Giada for a green, so that means I could play a 3-drop, but there are no 3-drop Angels in my hand. I'm not even sure if there are any. But to help that along, we will go to combat. You're doing stuff. Not crazy, but you're still doing stuff. So we're going to send a 5/5 Angel at you in the air. Whenever it attacks, put a counter on it. So it's actually a 6/6. And I suppose we should also declare this as an attacker as well, and we will send this at you. 3, 4, 5, 6 as well. Because it would be stupid not to. Nobody has big creatures to crack back with, and Animar has protection from white, so regardless of how big it is, it can come in anyway. So we might as well take the advantage while we have it. That's all we can do here. Angels is poised pretty well. We're going to pass turn. Untap, upkeep. I'm going to take a damage and draw a card off of Phyrexian Arena, then draw a card for turn. I'm going to play Undergrowth Stadium. I do have 2 or more opponents, so it comes in untapped. I'm going to tap a green and Thran Dynamo, which gives me 4 mana. I'm going to have 1 of that colorless be floating, so I can play Map the Wastes. Search your library for a basic land card, put on the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle. We'll get a forest. And with that floating, and then the remaining 4, a total of 5, we will play the enchantment Palace Siege. As it enters, choose Khans or Dragons. I will choose Dragons. At the beginning of my upkeep, each opponent loses 2 life, and I gain 2 life. That's all we can do. We're going to pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw over here on turn 6. Okay, so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nope, can't do that. It's not right. And everything I have is like crazy expensive. So we're going to tap 1, 2, 3, 4. It costs 1 less to play Oran Frostfang. It's a 2/6. Attacking creatures you control have Death Touch, and whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. We played a creature, so Animar gets a counter, and then I'm going to tap 2 for the Allspark, otherwise known as Doubling Cube. You can pay 3 and tap it to double the amount of each type of unspent mana you have. I'm going to go to combat, and I might as well, so I will send a 2 unblockable damage at you, and it does have Death Touch because it's attacking, but it doesn't matter because you can't block it. That's all we can do. We're going to pass. So untap, I'm going to take 2 damage, then I will draw a card for turn. Might as well, right? You only live twice. We're going to tap that for 3 and draw 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. Finally, some lands. We're going to play Baldur's Gate and then Manor Gate, and with Manor Gate enters, we will declare, I don't know, blue. So it taps for green and blue, or green or blue rather, but it does come in tapped because we have nothing that untaps our lands. Oh yes we do, Splunking, awesome. And we played the extra land because Azusa lets us play 2 additionals, so we could theoretically play 1 more if we had them. I'm going to tap 3, and this costs 1 less to cast for each gate, which is 5, so I will play Gate Colossus. It's an 8/8, and can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. I will tap my remaining 5 mana to play Tatiova Benthic Druid. It's a 3/3 landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life and draw a card. I may have played that out of order if I could have played that first, but I didn't know what I was going to get with the One Ring, and I wanted to make sure I was getting some lands. But yeah, I should have played that first and then tapped a One Ring, but it's fine. Nothing else I can do. I'm going to pass turn. So Gates is doing decent considering, but it's not really doing much. And especially since we have 3 of the lands out are not Gates, that's a hindrance as well. Or not a hindrance, but it just slows it down. We're going to untap over here, upkeep, draw. Going to go ahead and tap 3, tap Bebe's Portal to play Sephara Sky's Blade, the most expensive card in my hand in terms of mana value. It's a 7/7. It's a flying lifelink. Other creatures you control with flying have indestructible. Bing, bing, bing. They all have indestructible now. That's awesome. I have 2 mana left. Sure. I will tap 2 and play Everflowing Chalice for 1. So now it taps for 1 mana. And yes, I believe it would be foolish not to swing the stuffs. And the thing is, you're doing a lot, but you are hurting yourself with the One Ring, and you're still not really that much of a problem. You have 5 gates, you need 10, you don't have mazes end out. Your stuff is going to get Death Touch, and we don't know what you're doing. So I guess we should just spread the love. Right now it's fine. So I will send Herald of War at you again. No, I'll send Herald of War at you because it's the biggest. This at you and Giada at you. Actually, these 2 both have Vigilance now. So you're going to take 2 Commander. You're going to take 6. You're going to take 7. Nobody has lifelink, so I don't gain anything. Okay, we're going to go ahead and pass turn. Angels is looking pretty good. So we're going to untap, lose a life because of Phyrexian Arena, and draw 2. And also at our upkeep, each opponent is going to lose 2, and we're going to gain 2. So that does help offset Phyrexian Arena nicely. I'm going to play Karn's Bastion. We will tap 1, 2, 3, 4 to play Aetherflux Reservoir, because of course. It's a life gain deck, you gotta have that in there. You don't have to, but it's a good card to have in there. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to play Animar's Archive. I kind of consider these a pair. They're not a combo, but I kind of see them as always going together in terms of what you put in the deck. So it says, if you would gain life, you gain twice that much life instead. If you would draw a card, except for your first one, you draw 2. On cast, I do gain a life. Oh, first of all, I did forget that when I gained a life, so Dina would make everybody lose 1 extra whenever I did the Cons or Palace Siege Dragons. Now I gain a life of casting Animar's Archive, and everyone will lose 1 because I gained it. Because it wasn't on the field yet, I don't gain double, but I will going forward. But that is all we can do, so we'll pass turn. I like to think that all of the decks have been performing relatively decent for these 3 games. Dina did poorly last game, but I strongly believe that was because I didn't shuffle her very well. I tried to shuffle all the decks much better this time, and you can see they're all performing pretty well. So we untap, upkeep, draw. We don't have enough mana for Allspark to be beneficial yet, because I could tap 3 to make 3 mana, and then tap 3 and tap it to double it, which would be 6, but I have 6 mana anyway. I will tap 2 and play Arcane Signet, and then tap 1, 2, 3 to play Outcaster Trailblazer. We saw this in the first game, I believe. Whenever it enters the battlefield, add 1 mana of any color. So we would have 3 mana, so I will add a green. Whenever another creature with power 4 or greater enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card. I cast a creature, so that's going to go up. I have a green mana floating. We're going to tap for 3 green total to cast Tribute to the World Tree, which we also saw in a prior game. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card if its power is 3 or greater, otherwise put 2 counters on it. I could swing a 3/3 commander at you because it's unblockable. However, you absolutely have enough on board, I think, to kill me next turn. So I don't know, though, but you could do that anyway. I don't want to say that we're the threat. That's the thing. These 2 decks, actually, the 3 of us, I would say, are equally the threat after Angels. None of these 3 are like stand out, like, oh my gosh. We're all doing things, but nothing super crazy. This might be the closest to being a threat after Angels, or 2 Angels, I suppose. Even if we cast a really big spell next turn over here, it's not going to be a game changer, so I'm going to go ahead and swing 3 at you, unblockable. You got 5 commander damage, it's not going to be an issue. That's all we got, we're going to pass. Untap, I'm going to take 3 damage, 1, 2, 3. Draw a card for turn. We'll go ahead and try again. Draw 4. Nice thing is, we've got Spellbook out, which is no maximum hand size. I will tap a green to play a Soul Ring. I will play Rakdos Guildgate for a land for turn. I'm going to tap another 2 and play Sylvan Scrying. Search your library for a land card, reveal it, and put it into your hand. Obviously, we're going to get Maze's End. It's going to go to our hand, but we can play 2 other lands this turn, so I will play Maze's End. It comes in untapped because we do control Spelunking. However, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We only have 6 gates out. I'm going to tap 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, ooh, do I not have the right colors for that? No, I don't, because we used up the green. Why is that tapped? We tapped a green to play the Soul Ring. Then I tapped 2 more. Yeah, I should tap something else. I know. To play that. And now we can tap this for green. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. To play Hour of Promise, search for 2 gates, up to 2 lands, and put them on the battlefield tapped, but then they come on the battlefield tapped, but because lands come in untapped, they actually untapped, which is nice. So we've got 4, but I don't know that we don't really have anything I want to play with that right now. Actually, I don't have anything that would... I have 4 mana anyway. Sorry, I have Soul Ring, so 6 mana, actually. So now, yeah, we have 8, but we gotta hold off because there's a reason. So I'm gonna tell you that I have Angel's Grace in my hand. Split second, you can't lose the game this turn, and your opponents can't win the game until end of turn. Damage that will reduce your life to less than 1 reduces to 1 instead. So we're leaving Command Tower up specifically so we can play that, because now with 8 Guild Gates and Maze's End out, we can clearly... We most likely can win on the next turn. Everyone sees that. Angels is probably going to come at us. Actually, everyone's probably going to come at us, so we still might not survive, but we'll see. We're going to pass turn, though. That's all we can do for now. And everyone's like, oh, he's got 8. Guild count at 8. Untap over here. Upkeep. Draw for turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to play Boon Reflection. We've seen that before. Double the amount of life we gain. I mean, you're going to win. It's very clear. So we're going to move to combat and swing. This would go up. and swing everything at you. Now, everything with flying has indestructible, and this one has lifelink. Nobody else has lifelink. But we would gain 14 life if it connects. However, but it does connect, actually, so they are going to gain a crap ton of life. So here's what's going to happen. We're going to swing. Gates is like, okay, in response, I'm going to tap Command Tower for white, and we're going to Angel's Grace. Ha! Angel's Grace on your Angels. Split second, as long as this spell is on the stack, players can't, so no one can counter this. I can't lose, you can't win. And until end of turn, anything that reduces my life to less than 1, it lowers it to 1 instead. So, okay, so all of your damage does connect. You just can't kill me, and you will gain 14. I go down to 1 life, so it would have hit me to -1, literally, and it goes to 1 instead. I'm like, pachoo! However, everyone else, and you know what, I'm going to die to her friggin' upkeep anyway. Darn it, I forgot about that. All that for nothing. Well, that's all we could do. We would have died no matter what, so we pass turn. Or rather, that happens, we gain life. Nothing on the life gain aspect at the end step, we pass. We untap. Upkeep, we're going to lose a life, draw a card off of Arena, and draw a card for turn. Let's untap. Upkeep. Well, actually, we draw a card for Arena. Everybody loses 2 life, and we gain 2. And then everyone loses another 1 because we gained a life. Then we draw the card for turn. So, there you go. Gates was on the poise on there, right there, about to win. I love that. I love that Gates is that good and consistent. However, it's just very obviously telegraphed that it's going to win, so everybody ignores you for the first 5 or 6 gates, and as soon as you get like 6 or 7, everyone focuses on you. It's like, well, the annoying part is when you don't have Maze's End out. It's like, oh, you've got 7 gates, and it's like, yeah, and I don't have Maze's End. I can't win. Oh, you do. It's like, okay, whatever. However, I would have gained double the life, so I would gain another 2. Fortunately, all I drew was freaking lands, so I will play a land for turn. We'll tap 1, 2, 3, 4 to play Harmonize. So we gain 2 life, because I gained life that you guys lose, and then I'm going to draw 3 cards. I'm going to tap 1, 2, 3, and this for 4, with 2 floating, to play Creekwood Liege. Other black creatures you control get +1/+1, and other green creatures you control get +1/+1. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may put a 1/1 worm on the battlefield, a black and green worm. So it would actually be a 3/3. That is the second spell I've cast. So I would then gain 2 life, which means I gain 4. I gained life, everybody loses a life. If I draw a card, I should have drawn another 3. Alright, awesome. Okay, that's actually very helpful. I still have 2 floating, so I will use the 2 colorless and tap 1 more to play Bonder's Ornament. Taps for 1 color of any mana. 1 mana of any color. That's my 3rd spell, so I would gain 3 life, which means I gain 6 life. We each lose a life. Then I will tap Bonder's Ornament for 1 to play Mere Scrapperling. It's just a 1/1 that I can sacrifice. I put it in there because I took some other card out and I just had it. But it works because it's 1-drop and it helped right now. That is now 1, 2, 3. That's the 4th card, so I would gain 4 life, which is going to be 8. You each lose 1. Ooh, okay. I could Aetherflux Reservoir someone. Aetherflux someone. Whoever tries to attack me first, basically. It's not the best strategy, but it's something we can do. However, if they try and push it and we kill them, then Angels absolutely kills us because we don't have flying. We would really, the smart move is to attack, is to do that and kill Angels no matter what. We just want to wait until their upkeep or something to see what they do. We can block Animar with the Scrapperling, which is really good because it's pro white and black. These 2 are black, so they can't block it, but the Scrapperling can. And then nothing has trample yet. So we might have a chance. We'll see. That's all we got. We've got no end step triggers. We're going to pass. Yes, I almost forgot. The Phyrexian Arena. Now, that is an upkeep trigger. It's our thing, so we could stack it so the Palace Siege goes first and we gain 2 life and then lose the life as opposed to the way we've been doing it. I believe we can do that. I think anything that there are triggers that only affect us, we get to choose the order. So we should be okay on that. Let me know if I'm wrong, but I think that's the way it is. We untap over here for theoretically turn 8. We draw a card for turn. It's a land, comes in tapped, we'll play it, whatever. Yeah, there's nothing we can do. So what we'll just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and green spells cost 1 less for 8 to play Living Hive. Oh, wait, sorry. They do cost 2 less because of that. So technically green spells would cost, green creature spells would cost 3 less. So we would tap the 6, 7, 8, 9 to cast Titanoth Rex. It's a creature, this would go up. And it's 11/11 with trample, but no haste. We get to draw a card, and then we get to draw a card off of this as well. It's great, but we already played the land. Green spells do cost 1 less, so I will tap 1 and play Up the Beanstalk. When it enters the battlefield, or whenever you spell with mana value 5 or greater, we draw a card. Cool, we draw a card, another land. We can only attack with these 3. Attacking creatures you control have Death Touch, which that's a thing, and they would have to block, because we can't let anything through, because we need that 50 life to take them out. So that's kind of the thing they want to push, is because attacking, we would lose these 2 creatures. Well, we would lose every creature, actually. So that's not, I mean, we have to, right? So we swing, we block, you with you, this dies for sure. And then she's a 3/5. So we would block you there, killing you, but killing Dina, unfortunately. Costs 2 more to cast. And then this is just a 2/2, it doesn't buff itself, so this would die. That's all we can do. We go to our end step, we pass turn. At your end step, we sacrifice 50 life, going down to 1 and just take you out. 50 damage, you're at 42, you're at -7, boosh. So it comes around to us. We untap, we move to our beginning of our upkeep. We're going to gain 2 life, and you're going to lose 2 life, and then we draw a card off of Phyrexian Arena, we lose a life, and then we draw a card for turn. But I don't know that we can do anything. Play a forest for turn. Actually, yeah, I'm going to play, instead of playing this forest, I'm going to play a swamp, because I need the swamps more, surprisingly. We'll tap 2. Oh, wait a second. Let me look at my cards. Tap 2 and Thran Dynamo for the 2 attacks with 1 floating to play Dina. That's the first spell I cast, so I'm going to gain 2 life. Boom, boom. Then she enters the battlefield. Like I said, I've got 1 floating. So 1 floating and a black and Karn's Bastion for 3 to play Callous Blood Mage. That means we're going to gain 2 life because it's the second spell, but we double it, so we're going to gain 4. You're going to lose 1, and we're going to choose to make a 1/1 pest because we need blockers. Then I think we have enough. 1, 2, 3 to cast Marauding Blight Priest. It's a 3/2. Whenever you gain life, each opponent loses 1 life. So on cast, we're going to gain 3, which is 6. And then you're going to lose 1. Then it enters the battlefield. And then finally, we're going to use our last 3 mana to cast Veto, Thorn of Dusk Rose. He says, he's a 1/3. Whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. So on cast, I guess I should have done that in the other order, damn it, because that would have gotten way more value. Stupid, stupid, stupid. But I'm not going to roll that one back because that's a learn your crap better. This isn't just, oh, I tapped the wrong colors. This is a bigger deal. So this is our 5th spell, so we will gain 10. We gained a life, so you lose a life. And whenever I gain life, each opponent loses 1 life, so you'll lose another one. And then whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. Yeah, I could have won right there. I could have won if I'd have played that and not been stupid about it. But, you know, whatever. We got a lot of blockers, which is great. So everything has Summoning Sickness, of course, so we're going to pass. I think Dina can pull it out, but it should have just been a win right there. 1, 2, or untap, upkeep, draw for turn. Play a forest. Alright, so my green creature spells cost 4 less to cast. 4, 5, 6, and then 3 green to cast Myojin of Life's Web. I'm going to draw a card off of Tribute. I'm going to draw a card off of Up the Beanstalk. It comes into play with a divinity counter on it if you played it from your hand, and it's indestructible as long as that has a counter, but we can remove divinity counter from Myojin and put any number of creature cards from your hand into play. We really only have 2. So it's not super big deal, and none of them have haste. But why not, right? Let's show off a bit. So we're going to remove that counter and play Living Hive. Well, first of all, this does go up because we cast a creature. Living Hive and Erasta of the Endless Web. Living Hive is a 6/6 with trample. If it deals combat damage you make to a player, you put that many 1/1 green insect creature tokens into play. And Erasta is a 3/5 with reach, and every time an opponent casts an instant or sorcery, I make a 1/2 green spider token with reach. We didn't cast them, so Beanstalk doesn't trigger, but Tribute to the World Tree does. Power 3 or greater, draw cards. I will draw 2 more cards. Very cool. Lots of good card draw synergy going off right now. Not enough to get anywhere. And I guess we maybe could have tried the Allspark thing. We probably should have. I wasn't thinking of it. We got enough mana now where that would have actually been beneficial. So what I have in my hand is mainly 3 lands and 2 spells. Neither of the spells are creatures, and they couldn't have really helped anything. I should have used the Allspark, but not using it isn't a detriment to the turn. I guess there's no point in not going for it, but it doesn't matter. So we're going to swing. Well, I mean, trample. we'll see. So we're going to swing all 3 of these at you. They all have Death Touch. Animar can't be blocked by white or black, what's the protection from, and every creature you have has black in it. So Animar is getting through for 5 commander. So you're down to 19. You've got a 2/6 that you will block with the 1/1. That just dies, no big deal. But you do have an 11/11 with Trample. However, I mean, it doesn't matter, right? You've got 19. You can take 11 damage and go down to 8. It's a risky gambit in most circumstances because you don't know what people have in their hands. I don't have anything I can do, but I've got 5 cards in hand and a little bit of untapped mana, so that is risky to try it because I could have like a pump spell or something in green. We take the 11, go down to 8. We're like, crap, that was my best attempt. No end step triggers, we pass. All right, Dina. So we're going to untap. We're going to upkeep. I'll take the 1 damage from Arena to draw a card. Then I'll gain 2 life from Palace Siege, and then you'll lose 2 life. But because I gained 2 life, you're going to lose another 2, and then you're going to lose 1 off of Dina. And I gained 1, so you're going to lose off of Marauding Blight Priest. Yeah, that's awesome. I play a land for turn. All I have to do is, well, I got to be careful because I still have to do stuff, actually. I will tap 1, 2, 3, 4 and play Feed the Serpent. Exile target creature or planeswalker will exile your commander because it is making things cheaper. So now it costs 2 less to cast, but we cast a spell. So we're going to gain, the first spell we've cast, we're going to gain life. It's doubled, so we're going to gain 2. You're going to lose 2, and then lose 2 off of Dina and Marauding Blight Priest. Boom! Look at that. Dina with the win, finally. Love it. Love to see it. This is a much better showing than last game. So what do you think? How would you improve these decks? You think they're cool? Do you have a Dina deck? Do you have an Animar deck? Giada? Do you have a Guildgate deck? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, do all the likes and stuff, and I will see you next time.